This year's Stanley Cup Final is by far the best Stanley Cup Final that has ever happened in NHL history, and I will stand by that. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about the 2025 Stanley Cup Final that is currently underway. We are having Game 5 tonight in Edmonton. The series is tied at 2, and I just want to give you a quick rundown of the last 4 games and tell you why this current Stanley Cup Final is by far and away the best one we've had in a decade, maybe ever. Now, everybody knows the stakes going into the Stanley Cup Final. Last year, Florida was up 3-0, destroying Edmonton every single game, but Edmonton clawed their way back with 3 blowouts of their own to force a historic Game 7. The Panthers did unfortunately end up winning in 7, spoiling the comeback and allowing them to be Stanley Cup champions. This year, they were looking to repeat that, just like the Tampa Bay Lightning did in 2020 and 2021, and they were fortunate enough to make it back to the Stanley Cup Final after destroying their competition. The Oilers obviously wanted to make it back here too. You know, losing after being down 3-0 and making a 3-3 comeback is utterly demoralizing, especially for players like Corey Perry. He's won a Stanley Cup, but he's lost, his last 5 in a row? It's ridiculous. So going into this series, the Oilers are absolutely hungry for a Stanley Cup win. The fact that no team hasn't won it in Canada since 1993 is another big reason. We sort of got Canada's national chemistry coming together for the Oilers, although some other teams like Calgary fans or Vancouver fans might not want to support them. Game 1 started off with a bang. Florida goes up 3-1 in the second. I wasn't really watching this game at this point, but I knew at 3-1, man, this Panthers team is on a roll. They destroyed Carolina, destroyed Toronto, destroyed Tampa. They might even destroy Edmonton. But they slowly crept their way back, scoring 2 goals and tying the game at 3 with a crazy comeback. And now we've got overtime in Game 1. Now, I was rushing home to watch this overtime. I was at a Jays game, and I really wanted to watch this overtime. Thankfully, there was so much action, but nobody scored in the time that I was driving home. And by the end of the overtime, it was back and forth with crazy chances on both sides. Kasperi Kapanen almost had one of the greatest game-winning goals in Stanley Cup playoff history, deking out the entire defense. Kasperi Kapanen is doing this, not Connor McDavid, not Leon Draisaitl, Kasperi Kapanen. But in overtime, it was pretty much all Panthers. They were going back and forth and back and forth. The Oilers did respond. Evan Bouchard had a breakaway chance of his that was stopped by Bobrovsky. Both goalies were actually playing really well. Stuart Skinner had a good game. Despite letting in those 3 goals, he was a brick wall afterwards. And Bobrovsky let in 3 goals, but he's still Sergei Bobrovsky. Now, at the end of the overtime period, we're going into potential double overtime territory. The Oilers get a power play. A puck over the glass penalty by, I think it was Nosek, led to a power play for the Oilers. And of course, Draisaitl scores after a pass from McDavid. That duo is insane, and they win in overtime. Already, Game 1, crazy overtime. You're thinking, wow, already a great start to the Stanley Cup Final. You love close games, you love comebacks, and they're able to do it. Great Game 1. Now in Game 2, also in Edmonton, the same thing happens again. This time, it's back and forth. No team has a substantial lead. Florida gets a goal lead, then Edmonton gets a goal lead. And as the third period is winding down, Florida is up 4-3 with a chance to tie this series. But as the Oilers do, they play their best when they're down. And 4-3 with 20 seconds to go, Corey Perry, there's some scrum in front of Bobrovsky. He's able to tap it in, backhand, and the place erupts. And we got a tie game going back to overtime for the second straight Stanley Cup Final game. 2 games, 2 overtimes is exactly what you want, and man, I was loving it. So Marchand earlier in the game was able to score a shorthanded breakaway that did give him the 4-3 lead. And in overtime, the exact same thing happened. The Oilers were putting so much pressure on the Panthers in this overtime. Unfortunately, there was a missed too many men call, but you know, it's overtime. They're not going to call anything, especially against Florida. And as the Oilers are getting their possession in the offensive zone, chaos ensues. They're passing it around, and a big mistake leads to the Panthers getting the puck and a pass to a wide open Marchand who's already sprinting to Stuart Skinner. He gets his second breakaway chance of the game, already scored in the first, and of course he's going to score in the second. He's able to beat Skinner in front of his parents. His mom is going utterly insane in the stands, yelling Bradley over and over. She's going crazy. What an experience as Brad Marchand ties the series at 1. These first 2 games, utterly insane. So much fun to watch. 2 overtimes. That's the best you can have. I want them to get to 8 overtimes where they have that secret rule where you drop 1,000,000 pucks or whatever. I want that. So game 3 going back to Florida was the complete opposite. This game was not close and it was not as fun. But there were still plenty of moments that really made me think, man, this is going to be a great Stanley Cup final. So obviously we know the score. Florida won 6-1, which has happened 3 other times in their playoff run, twice to the Leafs. This team is insane. They can score at will, and when Stuart Skinner's having an off night, he will let in 1,000,000 goals, which he did. And while they were ramping up the score, the Oilers knew that even though they were going to lose this game, they have to bring in their pound of flesh. This is when they just have to fight because, you got nothing better to do. And this is when chaos ensues. They just start breaking their sticks over Sam Bennett's back. They start fighting everybody, spraying water, utter chaos. But you know what? It's important for them to do this. The Stanley Cup playoffs are all about creating havoc and really getting in the head of your opponent. If you're able to cause crazy stuff to happen and get them upset, that honestly helps your case because then you get them off track. Obviously, this game was over, so it really didn't matter. You just want to cause as much havoc as possible. So the Panthers win game 3, and you're thinking, man, all the fun of those first 2 games is completely gone. Are we going to get another overtime game? And game 4 says, hold your beer. Just wait. So game 4 was honestly a terrible start for the Oilers. Stuart Skinner in net still after letting in so many goals in game 3. He lets in 3. There were 2 penalties on the Oilers and Tkachuk scored on both power plays. And then obviously a huge mistake in your own zone leads to a wide open chance for Lindell. And it's 3-0 at the end of the first. But again, the Oilers are best when they are down. They replace Skinner with Pickard and immediately the tone changes. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins gets a goal of his own. Pretty sure it was on the power play, able to make it 3-1. A couple minutes later, Darnell Nurse somehow gets a shot over Bobrovsky, just shoots it up over him. And next thing you know, 1-goal game. Minutes later, Podkolzin is able to score a goal to tie the game at 3 in the second period. It was 3-0 in the first and 3-3 in the second. Now at this point, Panthers fans are shook. It is silent in there. They don't know what in the world is going on. And in the third, Oilers get their chance. Jake Wallman is just waiting for this slap shot. He's waiting, gets the puck, launches it past Bobrovsky and scores. Oilers take the lead 4-3 in the third. So already, an amazing game with so much stakes, so much energy, so much excitement. Already a perfect Stanley Cup final, but it gets better. 2 minutes to go, the Panthers are down 4-3. They need something, and you know what they do? They pull the goalie, like every team does. But this is the Panthers. Their first 2 goals were on the power play, up a man. And of course, up a man, 6-on-5. Chaos ensues in front of the net with 10 seconds to go, and Reinhart scores to tie the game. We have now had 2 goals under 20 seconds in this Stanley Cup final. And of course, we've got overtime for the 3rd game out of 4. I don't know any Stanley Cup final, at least that I've watched, that has had that happen in the first 4 games. 3 overtimes in 4 games is utterly insane, and I am here for it. And in overtime, even more chaos. The Oilers are playing with gas. They're on fire to start this overtime. And of course, they get a chance. Bobrovsky is down, but the puck stays out and goes right under Bobrovsky. He's lucky the game is tied. And then on the other end, Bennett, the Conn Smythe favorite right now, who is scoring at will, is able to get the puck on his stick, shoots it over Pickard. It's off of his arm and off the crossbar, barely missing the game-winning goal. And then finally, Draisaitl's on the ice. He's just standing there, just waiting. Oh, I'm doing nothing. Ignore me. I'm just standing at the blue line. And immediately the puck's on his stick. He's running. He's skating. He's pushing past defenders. He's got the puck on his stick. And a little tap through the legs of a Panther defender, off his leg, and through Bobrovsky's 5-hole. Goal. Game over. I didn't even expect it when I was watching it. I'm like, what in the world just happened? All of a sudden, boom, Oilers are celebrating, and the series is tied at 2. Draisaitl now has 2 overtime winners in the Stanley Cup final. 2, not 1, 2. This is insane. He has 4 OT winners in this run. This is so much fun, and tell me why the Stanley Cup final isn't already the best ever. 3 OTs in 4 games, 2 amazing comebacks by both teams. Tell me why this isn't the best ever. I have no reason reason to believe otherwise. You can't name me one in the last 10 years that is near this level of excitement. Maybe the Avalanche in 2022, but other than that, nothing. I need to know what you guys think because honestly, I have no idea what to think of this. Game 5 is tonight and I cannot wait. This is going to be another insane game. 1 day rest between Edmonton and Florida is insane. It'll be a lot of fun anyway. I need to know what you guys think down in the comments. So like this video, subscribe, and I really appreciate all the support. All I know is Game 5 is going to be utterly insane. So please watch it. It's going to be a bloodbath. I cannot wait and I want to know what you guys think. All right, guys. See ya.